For those of you who like knives, these are the knives that I own. Not a whole lot. I'm not really big into knives in general, but I do have a few. Now I got this Space Force little K-bar. I thought these actually look pretty cool. They're built real solid. I already had this one. I just thought I'd get the other one just for the cosmetics of it. Actually pretty good. Got a nice little grip on it. Then I got the matching knife to go with it. I think it looks really, really nice. It does feel solid, a little on the light side, but if you're gonna be going up against a, you'll be fine. I wouldn't use this for hacking wood or going against the bear or anything like that, but I mean, I guess if you had to, it's better than nothing. But against a two-legged animal, it'll hold up just fine. Then I got this one at Walmart, $20 special. This one's actually pretty solid. You can feel the weight to it. This one I would start hacking away at wood, as I've already used it to hack a few things. And again, if you were gonna be going up against a two-legged animal, you'd be fine. This, I would believe, would hold up against something like a bear if you had to use it for that. This one I got it just to match. I thought it looked cool. Saw it on special for $19. They're usually somewhere about $25, $30. But I've seen them around the $20, $23 price range generally. But when this one was $19, I'm like, let me go ahead and get it. I don't believe it's a full tang. The handle feels extremely light. I think this one over here is more durable. But again, depending on what you're using it for, it works just fine. Plus it looks pretty cool. Reminds me of the whole Crocodile Dundee scene. These are my everydays. This one's a lot smoother, as you can tell, just because I actually use it pretty often. The only thing I don't like is sharpening these is kind of hard. Well, for me, I'm not, again, into knives. So when I do use them, they do wear out. And then I have a hard time just kind of getting those sharpened. You can tell right there, for those of you who do know, that those little marks aren't something that you really want on there. And then I got the mini. They're about the same. I think they were both like 170 when I bought them, 180, something like that. This one is not as smooth as the other one because I don't use it as often. And I do need to clean it. But I do carry it on a regular basis. When I carry this knife, it's typically when I'm wearing shorts and I'm wearing my shield, my smaller EDC, and then I'll have it with that light. When I carry my full-size light, I'll typically have a full-size knife and more than likely be carrying my M&P 9mm or my Glock 19. Again, just for the occasion, depending on what I'm wearing. Now this is a bayonet, still technically a knife, I guess, but it is a bayonet. Let me see if I can get this open. Everything's harder to do when you only have one hand. Realistically, when you just have two, this is extremely easy to get out for the sheath. There you go. Now this one's the Ontario knife M9. I was looking up knives. I wanted something solid. Ontario kept coming out as a really good, reliable knife manufacturer. It does have the bayonet connection on there. I was gonna put it on an AR-15, but I ended up leaving it on my Mossberg 590, the orange one that you guys might have seen on my channel already. And of course, that goes over the actual barrel itself, if you have it like on an AR. Recently, I did get this as a gift. So very happy when I received it. This one is an M11. This is not a bayonet. I did want something to have with me in my vehicle. I do have one in my safety kit, but it's a Gerber. And it's in my safety kit for that exact reason, if I ever need a knife or something like that. But one for me to carry every day. I went ahead and got this. It does have the fence cutter. Pretty much, I'm doing this backwards, but you'd be putting it the opposite direction. And this notch goes in there so that when you're clipping it, it slides, and the link for the fence would go in there, and you would cut that open. This is how it would go if you're going to be cutting some sort of chain link fence. Put it in that notch, and then you pretty much just scissor it open and close like that. Chain link fence would fit in that little notch, and when you come down, it would just kind of scissor that and cut that open like that. Let me see if I can hold it. So you'd put the chain link in there. This is at an angle, so it acts like just one big pair of scissors. Pretty much just cuts it right open. Both the bayonet and the M11 both have that, which I think is a pretty cool feature. I mean, if you're going to be out in the field doing something, or if you're a ranch hand, because here in Texas we have quite a few ranch hands out there, this would be handy to have. A little on the heavy side, but if you're going to be carrying it open anyway, shouldn't really be much of a factor. And it's actually very practical, very sturdy. You could use it to cut a lot of things. It's better to be doing something with a large knife than you would be with a little pocket knife. Even these, as cool as they might be for some things, I don't feel they're as sturdy as those, just because they got a thicker metal, more weight to them, more heft, and you just get that feeling of confidence when you're holding it. Blade, generally speaking, is about the same. I believe the metals are different. From what I was reading, I know a lot of people had issues with the M9 breaking when they first came out. From my understanding, that's an issue that was quickly resolved, but you know the internet. They like to regurgitate old news even if it's no longer valid. This is the cheap one I got at a local academy, just because it was $20. I'm like, I could use this as a little beater. I will say, I mean, it might look a little cool, but it's built solid, but it's light. It's light. It definitely doesn't feel full tang from what I could feel. I'm expecting that knife just kind of tapers down into like a thin little, not even a bar. It probably stops where these screws are, to be honest. But for basic, just beater use, it'll work fine. Plus it looks cool. And again, if you had to go against a two-legged animal, that would work just fine. So that's it. These are really the only knives that I have. That is the entirety of my knife collection, minus the one I have in my vehicle, but it's not a whole lot to say about that. It's just a little Gerber knife, roughly about this size, maybe a little bit smaller. My everydays, what I consider defensive knives. Not that they can't all be, but realistically, I feel that's just more what they're designed for. These are my EDCs for cutting whatever might come along. Zip ties mostly, boxes, things of that nature. And this is going to be my bayonet pig sticker. And this is for whatever may come along, my vehicle EDC. All right, tell me what you think. Am I off to a decent start? I don't want to have too many knives just because I don't have the space for them. So maybe later I'll trade some off, get something a little bit newer, a little bit cooler. Tell me what you think.